Oh, it says the stream is live. Awesome. Okay, well,
You're live.
you want me to start? Cool. Well, while we wait for people to join us, we're gonna just, what do you want me to say exactly? The opening clip? Okay. Attention Center Havens investors, potential investors, and all those curious about the future of cannabis cultivation. If you've ever wondered how the aeroponic growth method could revolutionize the cannabis industry and benefit you as an investor, you should stay tuned as we dive deep into this innovative approach with our expert, Bruce Granger. Thank you for joining us this evening.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. So I guess while we give people a few minutes to join us and log in, we can just, and while you join us, guys, if you want to let us know where you're watching from, how you heard about Stoner's Haven, we'd love to hear from everyone. Say a quick hello, interact with us in some sort of way. Or if there's something you're specifically wanting to hear about tonight, let us know. How many minutes do you want me to give them? Why are you laughing? Just laughing.
Judy is tagging a whole bunch of people.
Good. Hi, Judy.
Yeah. Sorry, don't look at me.
Are you telling me not to look? In Santa Fe, I'm excited to hear from Bruce. We all love Bruce. Bruce, look, you're getting the pins.
Awesome.
We're gonna have to get like t-shirts made, like hashtag Team Bruce, and yeah. There you go.
How fun would that be?
I think I would buy one. I wouldn't, even if I had my own t-shirt, I'd be buying Bruce shirts, Yeah, see? That's your number one fan. Is that really you typing on the side like, oh, we love Bruce? We said that. Okay. Okay. I don't know how I'm supposed to not look at her. So if you guys are just tuning in, we're just going to give it a few more minutes before we dive in with Bruce, but we're just kind of taking the poll right now, seeing where everyone's from. How did everyone hear about us? Did we come for Bruce? Did we learn from Bruce, or did we just pick up Bruce along the way? No, I'm legit. I love it. Hey, Vicky, I can't get that post on Facebook.
You can't what?
It's not on Facebook if you want to put it on the story.
Oh, I'll get it on the story.
It's on Instagram.
I'll get to the camera. Just stop looking at me.
Okay. All right.
But keep talking. Bruce, maybe keep it quiet.
Okay, Bruce, we're not allowed to keep it quiet, so I'm just gonna start talking. I think we're gonna start, Bruce. I think we take over, okay?
Okay.
I'm Shannon. I'm the digital marketing manager with Stoner's Haven. Excited to be here tonight with everyone. Sorry. Bruce, I'm told your vast experience in this cannabis industry combined with your passion and dedication has not only benefited us, but has also been a source of inspiration for many of us. So it's an honor to have you here. And if you're ready, I say we just get started and dive into this.
Sounds wonderful.
Let's do it. All right. Well, would you mind sharing just a little bit of your background in the industry?
Sure. So in 2009, I decided to get into the cannabis industry in Colorado. At that time, we had a medical marijuana law that allowed you to grow for other people that had medical marijuana cards. I put an ad in the local paper looking for cards, and I got 47 cards to grow with, which meant that I could grow about 240 plants. I built my first grow in 2010, and shortly after I finished it, I was good friends with a city council member who I invited out to take a look at it. And he walked through my grow and laughed. And I said, "What's so funny?" And he said, "This looks like a commercial grow facility, like you would pass OSHA." I said, "Well, it needs to be."
Yeah.
And about 2 weeks later, he asked me to go and meet with the gentleman who was actually writing our new law that was going to make the first medical marijuana for profit state in the United States, which was a gentleman by the name of Chris Romer. Chris came up with the legislation. I worked with him a little bit on that, and I started the first nonprofit in Denver with a friend of mine called Act for Colorado, and was asked to sit on the first rulemaking committee in 2010, where we came up with all the rules around the legalization of medical marijuana. I opened my dispensary in 2010, built 3 more grows, all under 8,000 square feet by 2012. Had 4 grow facilities running, and realized I was spending a fortune on HR, and then went out and raised money and built a 40,000 square foot grow and closed all the other grows down. Sold my dispensary and my grow and my extraction facility in 2014 to start another company called FlexMod, where we took shipping containers and converted them into Class 1 Division 1 extraction booths for volatile and flammable solvents.
Oh my gosh.
For one thing led to another, and I ended up walking away from that company in 2018 to start my consulting business, which is what I've been doing now since then.
For our new friends, when you say grow, what exactly what does that entail?
A grow facility. So the best way to control the environment in growing cannabis is to do that indoors. You can do it outdoors. You can do it in greenhouses, but it doesn't control the environment as well as an indoor grow facility, which is what my expertise are in, is designing and building indoor grow facilities. So we take a warehouse, build rooms within that warehouse. Each one of those rooms is environmentally controlled for temperature, humidity, CO2 levels. And then I typically like to positive pressure those rooms so that bugs can't fly in. So I don't have to worry about pesticides or fungicides or herbicides, because I'm not allowing any potential infestation to get into the room by positive pressuring that room.
Well, I'm excited you're here. I think you have a lot to offer, but if you don't mind me asking, what drew you to be a part of the Stoners Haven team?
As a consultant, I received a phone call from Judy. She was interested in aeroponics, which is one of the methods of growing cannabis that I'm most in favor of. So we started talking about aeroponics and about building an indoor cultivation facility. And she told me that she was interested in starting a company. Over the next couple of months of talking to Judy, I realized that unlike probably 85% of the rest of the people who want to get into this business, people want to get into this business because they like to smoke weed and they think that they can start a business. Well, they're apt to fail, because this is a business first and foremost. You have to run it like a business. You have to treat it like a business. It just so happens that the product we sell, we grow. Unlike other companies where they make their widgets, we grow our widgets. And so in talking to Judy, I realized that she had legal, she had financial, she had marketing, she had all of the aspects that somebody would need to launch a successful business. She asked me to be part of the company, and I agreed. And I get asked probably once or twice a month to join companies, and I don't.
Really?
I work as a consultant. That's how I get paid. I'm not interested in giving that up for a company that's going to fail. I truly believe that Judy has the wherewithal, the gumption, and the understanding of a business to make this work and work successfully.
I agree. Judy's one of a kind. I wish more people could get to know her like you and I have, and talk to her and really like pick her brain even. And I think a lot of companies could benefit from just understanding or hearing her out a little. She's great to work for and great to be behind. So I'm excited you're here with me. As the
I'm excited to be part of the organization as well.
as the chief strategic officer and a subject matter expert, how do you support the team and what expertise do you bring?
I bring a lot of expertise as it pertains to the industry as a whole. Judy has got the business side of it. I'm more focused on the growing, extraction, and the distribution of the product. That's really where my expertise lie. As I said earlier, I built my first grow in 2009. Grow, I couldn't find anybody to help me. Nobody was an expert. Nobody knew anything. And I did literally everything you could do wrong. I did wrong. I built my walls out of drywall. Within 9 months, they were molding. I put my air conditioning plenum right through the middle of the grow. And in the middle of the winter, it was raining from my plenum. Nobody knew how to do an indoor grow. And I made all those mistakes and figured out how to do that same building exactly the opposite and not make mistakes. So nowadays I build walls out of non-organic material. I don't use standard air conditioning. I use what's called a variable gas reheat air conditioning system that'll control temperature and humidity. It's actually the same sort of equipment that's been around for about 50 years that people use for indoor swimming pools. Because you think about an indoor swimming pool, it has huge humidity problems and temperature problems. Well, that's the same problem we have with an indoor cultivation system. So all the equipment that we need today in order to do a proper indoor cultivation facility exists. It just may exist in other industries, and we just have to bring it into this industry to make it successful.
Well, I'm glad we have you. I'm very sorry that you made all the mistakes up front, but at least now we know what to do, and you're the perfect guy for it, and it's going to be great. But I had no idea.
Well, Shannon, I will tell you this. As I say to my son, you learn more from your mistakes than you do from your successes. And so in making all those mistakes, I started to research how to do it correctly. And so now I teach people how to do it correctly.
You teach them how to fish. You don't just feed them for a day. I love that.
Exactly.
I appreciate what you have to offer. I'm learning so much already, and I'm like, wow, I had no idea. So thank you.
Sure.
So we've heard that Stoner's Haven is adopting the aeroponic growth model. Can you explain what that means and why we should choose this approach?
Sure. It's probably more convoluted than the question sounds. Most people think that plants breathe CO2. That's only true during photosynthesis. The leaves breathe oxygen, obviously, when there's no sunlight. But the roots of a plant always breathe oxygen. And so virtually the worst medium that you can grow in is dirt because it's so compact. The only way the roots get oxygen is when microbes start to break down organic material within the ground, creating oxygen. That oxygen, then the roots can absorb and grow. So we then realized that maybe there were other ways that were effective to grow. And so there are other mediums that they started using. For instance, cocoa coir, which is the coconut shavings, rock wool, which is was an insulation product, but now we use it to grow in. And those are both mediums that the roots can get a hold of, but it offers a little bit more availability for oxygen. Then people decided, oh, wait a minute, what if we grew in water? Water is H2O. There's a lot of oxygen in water. And so hydroponics started to become another way of growing. The problem with with growing in water is you can only saturate water with about 14 to 16% oxygen. The air that we breathe is about 22% oxygen. So if I could grow in the air, I'm going to give the roots the most oxygen available. Come up with aeroponics. So what we do with aeroponics is literally we use a neoprene cup, or shell, if you will, that holds the stalk of the plant. The roots sit inside of a tub. And everybody knows what emitters are for gardens, outside gardens. We use that same sort of emitter inside a tub. Excuse me. We spray the water with the nutrients at the roots. The roots absorb the nutrients and the water. Oxygen is fully available. And therefore, we can grow a little bit faster than any other methodology because we are offering the roots the maximum amount of oxygen available. And so aeroponics is a very, very good way of growing from that standpoint. There's another standpoint to look at as well, which is if you think about what we are trying to do in cultivation is keep our cost of goods down as low as possible in order to maximize profit. I may be jumping ahead. I'm sorry, but
No, you're fine.
Go on this. So if I can reduce my labor costs and the constituents that go into growing, it'll cost me less. My cost of goods will be highly reduced. Well, as I said earlier, you can grow in dirt, you can grow in cocoa, you can grow in rock wool. Those are all substrates that we have to bring into the grow. And then after we're finished growing, we throw away. So it's an expendable that costs us money that I don't need growing aeroponically. Second issue that I eliminate is when you bring dirt in, when you bring anything into a grow, you have the opportunity to bring in pests and other things that we don't want, like mold spores and things like that. We can bring them in. If I'm not bringing them in, I don't have to worry about getting rid of them. So I don't have to use herbicides or fungicides to get rid of the pests because I haven't brought them in. The next thing is labor costs. And I reduce my labor costs dramatically with aeroponics. Why is that? If I'm growing in dirt or cocoa or rock wool, I have to transplant the plant from the cloning stage. I transplant it once into the vegetative stage. Then I have to transplant it again into the flowering stage. I don't have to transplant anything in aeroponics because I got this little neoprene holder. So my transporting is I pick it up out of the veg thing, I move it over to the flowering thing. That's the transplanting. There is no substrate. There is no transplanting. There is no time spent doing all of that. So again, saving money. So aeroponics is a benefit from a number of places. So first of all, it allows us to grow a little bit faster, not dramatically, but a little bit faster, maybe 6 to 10% faster. But as far as reducing costs of goods, it's dramatic. I can reduce my cost of goods by 30 to 50% by eliminating the substrate, reducing my labor costs. And that's why I'm a huge fan of it.
Yeah, no, that's an amazing amount of cost saving there, which I assume is part of why this model would be successful for Stoner's Haven and their investors. But besides costs and things of that, what other aspects are beneficial for not only us as a company but our investors to invest in aeroponics?
Well, I mean, when you're looking at an investment, I think the first thing you're obviously looking at is what's my return on investment. And as I've just described, by keeping our cost of goods down, we really tend to, because we cannot control the market.
Mhm.
As long as I can keep my cost of goods down, if the market fluctuates, and I can grow for, let's say, $180 a pound, and the price drops to 400, well, I'm still making money. If the price goes up to 1,000, well, now I'm making really good money. The price goes up to $2,000, I'm making great money. But right now, if you look around the country, there's been some problems with the wholesale prices dropped dramatically, between $600 and $800 a pound. Well, if I'm growing for $180 a pound, I'm making good money. And so from that standpoint, it's a very beneficial thing. And like I said, we're reducing our labor costs. I can grow probably a 8 to 10,000 square foot canopy with 2 to 3 people aeroponically. If I was doing that in dirt or cocoa, that would probably be 5 to 6 people.
Oh, wow.
So I'm reducing my labor costs. It just makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
The other reason I really like the equipment that I recommend, which is a company called Essence Grows, is the amount of data that we can produce using this equipment. So I can monitor every aspect of the growing system using this equipment. So I can set the parameters for my temperature, my humidity, lights on, lights off, temperature and humidity, my CO2 levels, the temperature of the water that is feeding the plants. I can control that, monitor it, make sure that it is within the scope that I want it. I can also monitor and maintain proper pH of the water, and that all happens automatically. I also can put in multiple recipes. So during the course of a grow cycle, we have what I would call the cloning aspect, which is minimal nutrients, 24 hours of light. I can control that. Then it goes into the vegetative stage. I add a different nutrient load, and this time more light. And the temperature of the room now is probably between around 78 degrees, 18 hours of light, but I want my humidity high, probably about 75%, 70 to 80%. Then I go into the flowering stage. Now I want my humidity to come down, my temperature to come down, and my nutrient load is going to change throughout the course of the 8-week flowering cycle. I probably will have pre-flower recipe, a flower recipe, a post-flower recipe, an early harvest recipe, and then a flush. Now, I'll be able to change those recipes automatically using this aeroponic system. What that allows me to do now is to maximize the growth, because now I can watch what the nutrient load is at every stage of growth and go, well, maybe next time I need to have more nitrogen in there, more phosphate in there. And then I can monitor what my yield is in comparison to the nutrients as I'm changing them. It gives me great control in order to maximize my yields.
It kind of sounds like you have your own little tiny Truman Show. I don't know if you ever saw that movie, but how they had full control of everything.
Right.
That's kind of what I'm picturing, and I like that.
Right, and that is exactly what we are trying to do. We want to control all aspects of the growing cycle in order to maximize our yield. And it's not just yield that we're interested in. We're also interested in potency, or the total cannabinoid profile. We're interested in terpenes, total terpene profile, and we want to maximize all of those aspects of a particular plant. And I guess the best way I can make a correlation is we as human beings are all born with genetics. Those genetics are predisposed basically at birth. We know that with proper nutrients, proper exposure to good water, sunlight, we can maximize our growth potential, our strength, all of those things if we give us the proper nutrient and exposure and sleep and all of those things to maximize the potential of our genetic being. Now, if you get lousy food, lousy water, and you've seen pictures of kids from Biafra and places like that are all starving from malnutrition. Their genetics doesn't predispose them to have malnutrition. It's that they did not receive the proper nutrients. Same thing is true with the plant. If I don't give it the proper nutrients, I'm not going to maximize its potential. But if I can get great cannabinoid profile, great terpene profile, maximize the production, maybe get 3.5, 4 pounds a light, really great production by maximizing the potential of the plant. Aeroponics allows me to tweak all of those aspects and figure out what is the best nutrient load, the best lighting, all of those things to maximize production.
I like it. And I like how you explain things. I saw another comment come through saying the same thing, but you're really easy to listen to, and like it's really fun listening and learning all this. So you have another fan. Your fan base is just growing as we continue talking. So I know you mentioned the not having the pesticides and everything like that, which obviously makes a healthier and more natural choice for consumers. But how what other ways does aeroponics provide healthy and natural?
Well, yeah, I'll tell you this. Aeroponics is not in itself gives us a healthier plant. It really is the environment in which we grow. So as I was saying earlier, a lot of the problems exist because people don't control the humidity of the room successfully or the temperature of the room successfully. If we can do those things, so for instance, mold spores. Mold is everywhere. It's in the air, it's on plants, but we want to eliminate it because obviously nobody wants to smoke mold or consume mold. So we can reduce the probability of bringing mold into a room by first biggest problem is human beings. And what I mean by that is you walk down the street and you rub up against a plant, a tree, and now you've just transferred the mold spore from the tree to your clothes. Now I go into a grow facility and I walk into a grow, and now I rub my arm up against the plant, and now I've just transferred the mold spore from my sleeve to the plant. So first thing we do, nobody goes into a grow facility who hasn't gone through showers, put on scrubs, antimicrobial shoes, hairnet, gloves. Now they go into the grow room and they leave the bathroom, the changing room, and they go into the grow room. I'm going to have them go through an air shower to make sure that there are no bugs in the air that goes into the grow room. Now they're in the grow area. So we've got doors for different rooms. We go to open up a door to go into a room. That room is now pressurized. So when they open the door, air is blowing out. Nothing can go in. Mold spores can't go in. Bugs can't go in. Now, we've done a lot of things to prevent that from happening, but I want as much prevention as possible to make sure that I don't get mold spores in there. I don't get bugs in there. So now I've just passed 2 tests that the states are going to require because they want to make sure that we're not selling bugs, we're not selling mold. The next thing they want to make sure is that we're not introducing, pesticides or herbicides or fungicides that people are using to stop bugs. Well, we've stopped them before they ever happen. So I don't need to use any of those things because I don't have those problems. So I'll pass all of those tests. The next thing we want to control is our water. So, we all drink tap water. Unfortunately, most municipalities put chlorine or bromine in the water. They put fluoride in the water. These are all things that inhibit the roots from absorbing minerals and nutrients that I want to feed the plant. So I got to get those out. I got to get the bromine, the chlorine, the fluoride out of the water. I do that by using a system of what's called reverse osmosis, which removes all of those particulates from the water. Now I can add the nutrients to the water that I want to add, giving it the best growth opportunity. All of these things add to a product that will pass tests and will give us the best possible outcome as we sell to the consumer.
And how does this growth process influence infusion and extraction?
Well, it's an interesting question. One of the questions I get a lot from people who've grown lousy product that has flunked tests is that you can, through the extraction process, remove mold, remove pesticides, but it is a lengthy process. Not easy, and you have to sometimes run it 2 or 3 times. Because we're growing without any of those additives, it makes our extraction process easier, faster, and gives us a better product at the outcome. One of the things that
Vicky.
Oh, he's frozen.
Yeah. Bruce, can you hear me?
Bruce is frozen. Just tell him, just give him 1 second.
Give us 1 second, guys. I think we're having a little bit of technical difficulties, and I'm not going to be as beneficial in this, so I'm not going to pretend to answer his questions. I'm going to let him take back over. But if you just joined us, let us know where you're watching from. Oh, there he is. Oh, you came back. I was scared that I was going to have to make up answers. Oh, did we lose him again? Bruce, can you hear me?
Oh no, he's frozen.
Let us know in the comments, guys, what is something that you guys have learned so far from Bruce that you may not have known or was most interesting to you. I know his fan base is growing exponentially higher than mine this evening. Oh,
hello.
Hi, we missed you.
Welcome back.
Yeah. Sorry.
So we were talking briefly about extraction, and I was just getting into the press that went on about 2 to 3 years ago about vaping and how bad it was, and the thing that never got resolved was that it's not the fact that we're vaping cannabinoids. That's not the problem. The problem is that a lot of bad players in the market were cutting the oil with emulsifying agents. The one that was causing the big problem where people getting very sick, they were cutting it with vitamin E. and it was causing huge problems with lungs.
Oh my God.
One of the things that I will stand firm on with Stoner's Haven is we will not be emulsifying with any product. We won't be using vitamin E for sure, or the two bigger ones that people still use are VGP and PG, which is vegetable petroleum glycol or petroleum glycol. And a lot of people today still use that. I don't think it's a good idea. Actually, I know it's not a good idea. And so I think at the end of the day, we will only produce products that are produced with pure extracted products and no additives.
Would you say that aeroponic, that's what makes it more environmentally friendly, or what is your opinion on why aeroponics is more environmentally friendly than others?
Environmentally friendly, interesting question. I would say that because I'm not producing a lot of landfill product, so I'm not producing cocoa or rock wool that would have to be thrown out at the end. Environmentally friendly because I use less water than other systems. But I would say the truth. Growing cannabis indoors is not environmentally friendly. It's just not. We use an exorbitant amount of electricity. I'm using artificial light. I'm using massive amounts of air conditioning, and it requires a lot of electricity. Not exactly environmentally friendly.
Okay.
I could tell you that outdoor cultivation obviously is more environmentally friendly, but I don't produce as good a product.
Okay.
And if we're trying to produce a high-end product, we've got to control all aspects of that grow process, as I've said.
Yeah.
And indoors is the best way to do that. And it's just part of the process, unfortunately. And I'm probably not answering the question the way that you'd like to hear it, but it's just the bottom line.
There's no wrong answers, and honestly, I appreciate the honesty. I think our investors and other the honesty is going to be the best, in my opinion. It makes me trust you, makes me trust the product, makes me trust Stoner's Haven. So, is it the answer I may have wanted to hear? Probably not, but I'm used to not always getting my way, so it's totally fine.
Right? No. It's true. If when people ask me, how do I cut costs? The two things, well, the number one expense is electricity, and I can't do anything about electricity. You can put up solar panels, you can put up wind turbines and things like that, but it'll help reduce the carbon footprint. But we're still going to be pulling off of the grid. I just feel like it's kind of like driving a car. They're not environmentally friendly. We can do what we can. We can get electric cars and things like that, but electric cars still need electricity. That electricity has to be created somehow. We got to burn either coal, natural gas, or nuclear energy, and it's hard to be a human being and live on this planet.
That's true. All we can do is our best, and as long as we'll recycle in the office, we'll do more for the environment. We'll give back, in other ways.
Right.
We'll find balance. It'll work out.
Yes, exactly.
But given your vast experience with cannabis industry investments, how would you think that Stoner's Haven compares in terms of investment potential?
I guess the best way to answer that is almost the same way I answered, I think, the second question you asked me, why Judy? And so going back to why Judy, and is probably the same answer that I'm going to give you for this, which is you need somebody to treat this industry like it's a business, first and foremost. And that's where Judy shines. She's brought together a group of people, and you and I are just two pieces of a pie that she's got probably 15 people, expertise in all aspects of running this business. And, she's asked me to join to be, subject matter expert here. She asked you to be, marketing and, electronic media and things like that. I mean, don't put me in charge of what you do. That's for damn sure. Getting on this program was, had to figure out how to get all this stuff working. But you know how to do that. I know how to build grow facilities and run grow facilities. She's bringing lawyers on. She's brought financial people on. All these people will allow us to be a successful business. Somebody's at my door. I wasn't expecting this.
Look, they come running. They heard you talking.
Hold on 1 second. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
You're fine. Solar.
Okay. I'm so sorry.
More investment opportunities knocking at his door.
I'm so sorry about that. I had no idea who that even was.
You're fine. They heard you talking and they came running. They really liked what you had to say. Let me get an autograph straight from the man himself.
I'm sorry. So anyway, anything else you have?
I don't think so. Is there anything you wanted to add? Anything I didn't ask that you may want to just add to the group and let people know or enlighten people? Or
Well, I would just say that if you are watching this program and have any questions, Stoner's Haven has a number of social media sites that certainly you could ask questions and come and listen. If you've got any questions and you ask Judy and Judy doesn't know, she will find the right person within the organization to answer those questions. We really want to be helpful to anybody who would like to get involved with us. And I certainly look forward to having the opportunity to answer any other questions that anybody might have.
yeah, we'll do we're calling it Grow with Granger. So we're going to make, some merch and everything, but we'll do a post of like a recap and just get, any questions that people may not have been able to ask, or if they catch the video later, they can reach out and we'll make sure you get those and get those answered. Because I assume, everybody kind of has the same questions. So there are no bad questions, only good questions. And
absolutely.
So awesome. Well, as we wrap this up, I just want to extend gratitude for everyone joining us and the support and interest, the drive to innovate and excel. And, I'm really looking forward to doing this with you, Bruce. And I appreciate you joining us this evening. And I don't remember the last time, I was in school and I would be falling asleep, I can't focus, but I could have listened to you all night. So I really appreciate it. And you know what you're talking about. And I really appreciate you being here.
Thank you so very much. Thanks for having me, and have a wonderful evening.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye, y'all.